Hi guys, my name is Carol. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys some of the negatives or cons of living in Poland. About 2 weeks ago, I did a video on the things that I loved about living in Poland. A lot of people responded well to that, and some of you actually requested that I do a video stating some of the negatives of staying in Poland. Now, this is a video that I have to start by putting out major disclaimers. The number one being that I stay in a city called Lublin. So I would say that this is more of a things I don't like about Lublin and less of Poland as a whole. If you watch some of my videos, I always say that every city in Poland is so different, so you will find that your experiences are going to be different depending on which city you are planning to go to. Number two being that I put together this list based off my own personal experiences, which I would say are not reflective of every single person who is in Poland or who's gonna come to Poland. Obviously, people's lives differs, people's perspectives differs. And then the other thing is, this is not a disclaimer for this video, this is just let's call it a community announcement. I know that a lot of people who watch my channel are planning on coming to Poland, and I just thought I had a responsibility to share with you guys that there has been a rise of fake agents and people are getting scammed left, right and center. So if you are going to be using an agent to come to Poland, I don't know, do some background research, make sure that they are legit, make sure that the things that they are presenting you with are legit. I have been hearing a lot of sad stories about how people got scammed and stuff like that, so, and I wouldn't want you guys to fall into that trap. So yeah, please just be careful with who you give your money and who you trust. Practically speaking, if you're unemployed and you have all the time in the world, I personally do not think that the visa to come to Poland is that hard. Maybe things have changed. I came here in 2019 and back then it was not really rocket science. You can do this on your own. But if you do feel the need to get an agent, please be careful with who you give your money to. So the first thing that I don't like about living in Poland, especially in Lublin, is how hard it is to get a part-time job when you are a non-Polish speaking person. You guys, it is so hard. I cannot emphasize this enough, especially in Lublin. When I came here, I had my life planned out, you guys. I was going to be juggling work and school and, you know, make a little bit of money, and hopefully by the time that I finish I would have enough money, I don't know, to start up something of my own. The joke was on me. The joke was on me. It is so hard. I'm not saying it's impossible. Like I said, everybody's experiences will be different, but that has just been my own personal experience. It hasn't been easy. And I will also say that a lot of people, because I think, I don't know about you guys, but I think when people come to any European country, subconsciously we have the UK as the standard of what other European countries would kind of look like. At least that was my perspective. So when I came here, I was like, okay, fine. Of course, I'm not gonna get an office job off the bat, but I thought I could, I don't know, some care work in clothing shops, work in restaurants, waiting and all that kind of thing. But I am telling you, it is very hard because people, especially in Lublin, they don't speak English. So who are you going to serve as a waiter if you don't speak Polish? How are you going to be able to communicate with your colleagues if you don't speak Polish? You know, that kind of thing. So it is very difficult. So just being a non-Polish speaking person is a disadvantage in itself. And Polish is not the language that you just learn just like that. I will keep trying to learn the language, but it is hard. It is hard, you guys. Yeah, that is something that I had to put on the top of my list, because I know that just like me, a lot of people, when they come to a foreign country, especially if it's not your first degree, you really wanna you know, make something of yourself during that time that you're in that country. You want to leave the country knowing, okay, fine, I got my degree, but I also managed to do this with my life, you know. The issue of job opportunities during the summer, I've not done this before. The reason being, well, this is gonna be my second summer. The first summer I just was not just mentally prepared. I don't know, maybe this summer I will put on my big girl panties and try this out. In the summer you can get factory jobs, you can work at a greenhouse, work at a farm. They are really difficult jobs, and the reason why I say I was not mentally prepared is because you guys, when we come here, in as much as you know that, okay fine, I'm not gonna get an office job right off the bat, those were not the jobs that I was looking forward to. In as much as neither of these jobs are easy, I would say that you can see like there is a big difference. That's what I mean when I say I was not mentally prepared, because this is physical work which I have never been exposed to, you know. So, and then you also have to consider the fact that you're doing this work for 10 to 12 hours. I mean, I was not ready, okay? I was not ready. I don't know if I would try it out. If I do try it out, of course, you guys know that I will come and share with you the experience of me working in a factory or farm or whatever I decide to go to. If you don't hear from me, just know that I chickened out and decided not to do it. The other thing that people ask me is it possible to work and support yourself in Lublin? I want to give a flat out no answer, but I feel like I don't know, guys. I guess it would have to depend on how hard you can work, your expenses, and the kind of lifestyle that you lead. Let's say you get the job in a greenhouse, right? You work every single day, you work all the hours you're supposed to work, you are probably gonna get somewhere between 3,000 to 3,500 a month. But then also bear in mind that it's out of Lublin, right? And you have to get accommodation there, so they take out a little bit of the money for the accommodation. You are also going to need to eat whilst you're at that place. I don't think they cover for your food, so you're gonna need to have your expenses whilst you're in that area. So you realize that at the end of each month you don't have that 3,500 in your hands. A sizable amount of it is already gone before you come back to Lublin. And then you come back to Lublin, bills are gonna be waiting for you as well. I share with you guys my monthly expenses, and I can safely say that I personally think that with the kind of lifestyle that I live, which is very normal, very basic, and very middle class, I do not think that I would be able to sustain myself with that money, because outside of the bills you also have to pay your school fees. I really don't think that in Lublin that is possible, and then also considering that you're only working 3 months of the year. I always tell people that if supporting yourself, making sure that you pay your school fees on your own, making sure you have a roof over your head, making sure that you're not hungry, making sure that you are clothed is important to you, and you don't want to rely on anybody else, you need to reconsider coming to Lublin. This is not the best place for that. That's just my take on it. I don't think I have ever in my life advised somebody to come to Lublin. Never. Like I said before, everybody's experience is different. Maybe there are people who are able to work and study and sustain themselves in Lublin. I do not know about them. Actually, I don't talk to a lot of people, so I wouldn't know, but I'm just basing this off my life, my experiences, my expenses. It depends. Maybe I'm just a financially dumb person. Another thing that I do not like about living in Poland is how generally they have low wages compared to other countries in Europe. You're not going to make as much as you thought you would. Obviously this depends on your qualifications, maybe your luck, but I will say that for most people you might not make what you expect to be making in a European country, that is. So yeah, it's just something that I'm still doing more research on it, but yeah, it's something that I've picked up and realized yeah, the wages tends to be low. And most of the times when we come to these countries, I don't know about you guys, but we are trying to, okay fine, yes, study, work for a few years, but then most people always have the thing of, I also need to be building something back home that I can return to, you know. And yeah, the wages in Poland, because they are so low, it means that it will take you a little bit longer. Again, it depends on how much of a hustler you are. I always tell people that I don't think by nature I'm a hustler, you know. So obviously if you have that hustle spirit in you, think it's a different conversation. But if you're one of those people that you just need a good salary job and then, you know, you do whatever you need to do, what it means for us is you will need a little bit more time, and you have to spend a little bit maybe more time in the country before you actually can say, okay fine, I have built something sustainable that can allow me to go back to my country. It will take you longer. The next thing that I really do not like about living in Poland is how when you apply for your Polish visa, you get a visa valid for 1 year. After that year, you have to reapply, and you have to apply for what is called a temporary residence card. We call it a TRC. And how many times you have to reapply, it depends on how long your studies are. But then that's not a problem. My problem is it takes so much time. For some people it's faster, for others it takes longer, and there actually is no system of knowing like, okay fine, if you do this you're gonna do it you're gonna get it faster, if you do this it's gonna take more time. You just do it and you just hope that it comes, you know, earlier. Mine took a little over 8 months. And what that means is for as long as they are processing your TRC, you can't leave Poland. The summer is so long and people would like to travel, people would like to go other places. Now imagine they are processing your papers and you can't leave. So yeah, that's just something that becomes a little bit frustrating when you stay in Poland as a foreigner. I have to like put a huge disclaimer because I feel like people take things so seriously. I do know that it's not every man in Poland that is bad. There are good men out there. But then also I can't say not every man, not everybody, you know, after every statement that I say. So in as much as that might sound like I'm generalizing, I do know that it's not all of you, okay? Don't be up in your feelings. Obviously, you already know that the next thing that I don't like about living in Poland is the dating scene. When you watch this video, I'll be 26 in 2 days. So obviously dating is a big part of my social life. Now when I tell you there's no winning, it seems like there is no winning. You try to date the white guys, they have issues of their own. You try to date the black guys, it's just so terrible. And you just come to a point where you make a decision to say, you know what, I'm just gonna stay alone. We'll start with the Polish white people. There is this thing that is very disturbing. It's a thing and it's disturbing. Where you see a guy and then you think he likes you, you start talking to him, and then you realize some of them have this really weird and creepy thing about being with black girls. It's like some kind of weird fetish or something. It's not really that they like you, it's just like you're black. It's so creepy. I don't know how to explain it. I feel like you need to experience this to understand it, but it's so weird. It's so weird, and I'm just like, no, you know. So you really can't tell, like, does this person actually like me, or are they having some kind of social experiment with me because they've never actually dated a black person? Do you get what I'm saying? The thing that I don't like about dating in Poland is the black guys. I'm not picking sides here, I'm just saying it is so wild. I mean, if you have a high tolerance of BS, then you wouldn't have issues with it. But then if you're like me and you just want to be at peace, you don't like drama, you're not everywhere with everybody doing everything, then yeah, the dating scene will not be your cup of tea. So yeah, at this point, it's just like, yeah, there's no winning. So I know a lot, this is actually funny, you guys won't believe me, but I actually get girls in my DMs asking me like, okay, fine, so I'm single, if I come there, will I be able to get a decent guy? I'm like, I don't know, girl. I don't know. Girls actually ask me that. But yeah, I will just say that when you come to Poland, come prepared to deal with a lot of BS in the dating scene. I'm not saying all guys are bad, but I'm just saying you will meet a couple of bad people, and not actually. So yeah, that's just something that I feel like I never experienced half the things that I experienced with guys until I moved to this country. That's why I had to put it on the list, because I was like, did I change, or did just the qualities of men change, you know, because I never used to have these problems. But anyway, yeah, that's just something that I had to share with you guys. Last thing I don't like about living in Poland is how, I've talked about this in different video, did I? Yes, I did. Is how ignorant they seem to be about Africans and Africa as a continent. They think that, I don't know, Africans are poor, we live in huts, we struggle, you know, that kind of thing. And I'm just like, dude, sit down. There is this general assumption that, well, Africans are poor, they come from a poor country. I don't know if it's just Poland or if it's European countries in general, I don't know, but yeah, in Poland it's the same. And then that is just an ignorance. And then because you get people asking you something like, so how did you come to Poland? Do you think I walked here? What mode of transport do people use to travel across continents? I feel like it's so weird how ignorant they are sometimes. You will never be ready for some of the questions that you will get asked, or hear some of the things that you hear about black people. I wouldn't want to call it racism. I think it's just ignorance. Like I said, they think that we live in huts. They think that we walked from Africa to here. And yeah, that type of thing. Alright guys, that's it from me. I do hope that you enjoyed this video. I will catch you in the next video. Bye.